Surprise, surprise, surprise. Look who's on here tonight. Thank you so much, Money Mom, again. Hi, Debbie from the How Debbie Saves channel. How's everybody doing this evening? I
Good, how
hope
are
that this
you?
good, and I hope that this video finds everybody doing well. Debbie, I'm going to jump right into it. Money Mom, I hope you don't mind. Debbie, this is really, really important. I want to first of all thank you for everything. If you're not familiar with Debbie, Debbie is from the How Debbie Saves channel here on YouTube. And she knows her onions about financials. Believe you me, from let's say even just wrapping up meat, saving money at the grocery store, stockpiling, and beyond, including talk about credit cards. And recently, Debbie, you did a show, and I feel this way, a vital show, and I'm sure Money Mom agrees with me, about fraudulent situations that might occur with debit or credit cards. For
Yeah.
example, Debbie, I have a quick question for you.
Yeah.
Debbie, is it a good or bad idea to use a debit card as a credit card?
It's a bad idea, and this is why, because there are department stores, and I don't want to name them, but there are department stores that are continuously getting their security system being broken into, and it's not just them. It goes really anywhere. It can happen anytime. And what happens is people that use their debit cards as a credit card, in concept, it's a good idea, right? You're not using your credit card, so you're thinking, I'm not going to get into credit card debt. I'm going to use my debit card as a credit card because it has the Visa or MasterCard logo on it. And whatever I charge is going to be automatically debited from my checking account, right? No debt. I get what I need from the store and I'm fine. But if that store's security system at any point gets broken into, now they have not your credit card information, but your debit card information, which is linked to your checking account. And what happens then is with that information, they can start using that debit card as a credit card, and that amount gets deducted from your checking account. And that's how fraud happens. And by not having the protection of using a credit card instead of a debit card, you could really be out of money for quite some time. Because the bank, what they do is, let's say, for example, you have $550 in your checking account until your next payday, and someone breaks into the whatever store you used it in. Now they have your information. Let's say they charge $500, and you, being the astute person that you are, because you're checking your accounts regularly, you see $500 being deducted, and you're like, that wasn't me. So then you call your bank and you say to them, that's not me. That doesn't mean that you're protected. What the bank does is the bank says, thank you for letting us know. We're going to investigate this fraud. But in the meantime, that $500 is frozen in your account while they investigate whether or not it's you. And now all you have access to until your next payday is the extra $50 in your account. And the bank can hold on to it for up to 6 weeks while they look it up and find out what happened. And you're out that money for 6 weeks.
That is a scary thought. I mean, first of all, the person feels violated
Absolutely.
in the first place, right, Dawn? And
I
then
did
that,
not even know this at all. Actually,
Mhm.
I did not know.
Yeah.
I thought it was maybe 2 weeks. I didn't know.
No, up to 6 weeks. Yeah, and you have to and then when you call the bank, they transfer you to the fraud department, and they're, my experience is that they're very kind with it. But this is something that's happening. I'm seeing it happen with my clients. It almost happened to me twice. Like, it's something to really keep an eye on, and that's why one of the positive money habits that I help my clients develop is to check your account statements regularly, which a lot of people don't do. We all live busy lives. And so sometimes, especially if you don't have the paper statements being mailed to you and they're emailed to you, then you have to actually log into your email and go through your emails and find the statement and then go through it. But developing that habit, whether you have the paper statement or whether you're getting it emailed, is crucial to see. Credit cards do it too, don't get me wrong, but with a credit card, you're at least protected. So if the same scenario happens, right? But this time, instead of using a debit card, you use your credit card, and the system gets, someone breaks into the system and it's the exact same thing. You get that charge. You call your credit card company and they say, no problem, you're not liable for it. We'll stop payment on that card. That card is now frozen, and they mail you a new card. And it might take like 10 business days to get it, but you're not out any money. That's the difference.
Mhm.
You know what, Deb? You're making me think about something. So, if one shouldn't use it for purchasing things, for example, are you
Mhm.
suggesting that the best bet is to simply use a debit card mainly for ATM withdrawals?
Exactly. I absolutely 1,000%. Yes. Hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's very interesting. A little scary, but knowledge is power.
Yeah. And another thing to look out for is if you ever see, and I've heard this so many times with my clients, and I'm like, I'm so glad they mentioned it because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you said this. Like, you have to keep an eye on the, they won't just go and when they have your credit card or your debit information, they won't just go and charge $1,000. Like, they want to see if the card is active, if it's not a card that's already been canceled, right? Because then they can be arrested if they go to use a card that's not active. So what they do is you'll see a charge on your, what, if you're using a debit card, that if they have your debit card information, it'll be on your checking account statement. If they use your credit card, it'll be on your credit card statement. But you'll see a charge for 0 cents, like zero. And that normally someone will be like, that's a clerical error. Or you'll see like 1 cent, 2 cents, or just 3 cents. They're just seeing if the card is active. And when that
Oh,
charge goes through, now they're like, bingo, I got an active one. And then the charges start. So if you ever see anything from 0 to a few cents, report it right away. Because again, what comes next is going to be something that's
are
going to
you
be
talking on credit or debit card? I don't have a
both.
debit card.
Either or. Yeah.
Well, you know
Mhm.
what? My credit cards that I have, because
Mhm.
I mostly just put some of my bills on there, they actually email me or text me and say, hey, we just want to let you know that you do have a charge of blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
This isn't something typical for you. We're
Mhm.
letting you know. Please contact us and whatever. Then if I want to, I can see what it is. I don't ever log in from that text or that email. That's
Mhm.
something else I want to tell everybody, which you'll probably say. If you
Mhm.
get emails from your bank or from Amazon or from PayPal, don't ever click on anything. Go directly to that site. Go
Absolutely.
directly to that site and call them. Don't ever click on any link in your email.
Mhm.
Even it's good. They are getting better and better at being legitimate.
Oh, absolutely. Today alone, I already got two text messages saying like Amazon says that there's fraudulent activity on your
I
account.
got
I'm
that
like, really?
too.
Amazon's
Yeah.
gonna text me? I don't think so. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Mhm.
got that too. Hey,
Yeah.
it's good, but we all need each other to help one another because we all get busy. And the thing is we might make a mistake by being in a rush.
Yeah.
Even some of the smartest, most articulate people that
Mhm.
have been wise could just be busy one day. Something looks really legitimate. They're in a
Mhm.
hurry. They want to get it taken care of. We don't need to rush with any of this. We can take our time.
And I tell my clients, like, by looking at one statement, it's not something that's going to take you a long time because we all like wish we had more time in the day. No
Yeah.
matter what obligations we have, it can take you less than 15 seconds to just scan through each statement for each credit card that you have. Like, if I go through my statements and I see, Walmart, Target, Misfits Market, a gas station, I'm like, that's me. But what happened to me last month is I went to Disney 2 months ago. We had such an amazing time. And I used the same credit card for all of the restaurants because I had my vacation fund. So as soon as I got my credit card statement, I paid the whole thing off. And before we left Disney, I double checked to make sure that every restaurant that we had, the charge had gone through. So 2 months later, just a week ago, I go through my credit card statement and I see a restaurant to Orlando that charged me zero to like that same week, that same day, like charged zero. Like, I'm like, wait a minute, like they're about to hit my card. Someone did something to my card. They must have my information. So I called my credit card company and and just as the example I told you, they said no problem. They stopped it and I got a new card in a few weeks, in like less than 2 weeks. But it
Now,
can
the only problem is if you have bills going out on that card.
then yeah, then you have to call up, which for me it was Netflix. So I called up Netflix and I just provided them a new credit card information. It's not a problem.
Yeah, that's a smart idea.
Yeah.
It's good that you're on top of that.
Yeah, and it's a habit that we all need to have because it happens all the time. Like I'm gonna say, like, maybe 2/3 of my clients, as they're working with me, they notice that charge isn't mine. Or all of a sudden you'll have a subscription on your credit card that you never signed up for. That's another one. So that's why it's so important to look through your credit card statements and your bank statements. But fraud is something that happens way too often.
And guess what? Remember, if you sign up for some quote free trial, remember and write the date down. And
Yes.
I really, in my opinion, recommend not doing a lot of free trials because they're making it more and more challenging to find the cancel button. And
Yes.
they do that purposely because they're just hoping you don't cancel.
I know, yeah. And the YouTube video that I did the week prior was about how credit card interest is really costing you so much money. And the feedback that I got in those two videos, I've actually created a class that I'm going to launch next month. I'm so proud of it. And it's a completely free class, and anyone that's interested, it's, you know, you can find out more on my channel. But it's completely free, and I'm going to show you everything you need to know to save money on your credit cards and to not fall for fraud. I have a whole section on fraud just because of the feedback that I got just last week on that video.
Thank you for addressing the fraud. I appreciate that. Excuse me, Dawn, I know that you had a question about warning signs, but I think that Debbie might have already touched upon that with
I could just see if you did. My question was, what are the warning signs of any kind of fraudulent activity?
Yeah.
You did touch on most. Is there anything else you think people should kind of watch out for with their bank accounts, with their credit cards, with emails they may get? Anything that's kind of a sign that all of us, even people that think we're being careful, we should kind of watch out for?
Yeah, if you get an email or a text message from any credit card that you have, or any subscription that you have, talking about someone has fraudulently logged onto your account or is charging something, go directly to the source. Call your credit card company, call your bank, and find out if it's true. Never click on a link that they send you. Never. Because that link is going to go take you to a website that looks legit. And then next thing you know, they're going to ask you for, oh, well, let me have your banking information. I just want to make sure that that charge never went through. And a lot of people fall for it because we want to trust. We want to trust that these companies are looking out for us, but it's not the company at all. It's just someone somewhere, you know, that has the know-all to be able to create something to fool you, you know, and a lot of people do fall for that. But definitely, as far as credit card fraud, people can scan your credit card. That's something that happened to a client of mine. She had to report it with the police. Someone had a credit card scanner that looked like a keychain, and all they had to do was stand close to her while she was using her credit card, and it scanned it. It was the same store. All these people kept reporting the fraud, and then the police realized it's all coming from the same store. Someone in there had a keychain. It's something before, you know, they had to take your credit card and literally zip it through a machine or write down the information. Now it's something, you know, with these electronic gadgets, boop, right there, they have your number. So I'm not trying to scare anyone, but it's something you need to watch out for. And that's why it's so crucial to check your statement.
You know what?
Knowledge is power.
You're trying to scare. I'm sorry, Jan. I don't think you're trying to scare anyone. I think it's good reminder to Monday through Friday, check your statements, whether it's bank, credit card. You know, I've been around the block. I've never had anyone, and I'm 57, almost 58, ever used or done any kind of fraud on me. Not once.
Good.
But I still check daily. So it's probably unlikely that if you're checking all the time and you don't click on links, it most likely will never happen. But it's better to err on the side of caution by being observant and checking.
And I don't check every day. I honestly don't check every day. When I get paid, it's just the system that I have for myself. When I get paid, I balance my checkbook. And that's when I go through everything. As you know, as I'm paying, as I go through my checking account, I go through everything. But everyone, whatever system works for them. Like, I'm not the kind of person that says, like, this is the way that you get out of debt and this is what you should do. Like, you know, that's what I love about being a money coach, is I can help my clients and meet them where they are. And every one of my clients has a different personalized budget and system in place that matches their personality so that they can succeed. You know, but I would never tell someone, like, this is what you do. Like, these are the steps to take. Like, no, absolutely not. That's why it's personal finance, because it's personal.
I love it. I love it.
Dawn, I think you might actually have a few words that you might want to expound upon with your experience with Debbie in this area.
Yes. I've talked to all different life coaches over the years, and everyone has different gifts. But I spoke to Debbie. Debbie does give a free consultation on being a money coach, which is fabulous. She also has that free class coming up. In the description below, I'm going to link Jan's channel and I'm going to link Debbie's channel so that you could go learn more about what Debbie's offering. But Debbie offered me a free consultation, which I thought was very kind. And I'm going to tell you what I really thought. Many times if there's an area you're not sure of, it could be anything like weight loss, it could be finances, it could be anything you may be struggling with, but if there's something that you really need help with, it's uncomfortable to ask for help. And I was nervous about asking some questions because I felt like I was silly that I shouldn't know these things because I have a YouTube channel. But I felt very comfortable. I felt like she met me where I was at. I did not feel judged. And this is the thing I like. She pointed out all the things that I was doing right. She didn't act like an alarmist, like, oh my God, you better do this. You don't have millions of dollars saved for retirement. You felt comfortable. You felt safe. You felt you could be yourself. So it was really light. And I felt like the power was put in my hands so that I could make decisions. Now, if it's okay to share everybody with what the advice Debbie gave me that I didn't do at first, but now I have, was she kind of believes, and at least for me, that maybe more of a simplified approach to finances, that I didn't need all these different sinking funds in different accounts, and would actually save me money having less accounts. I have now finally done that. And I like my situation better. And now I am saving money by basically consolidating some of my accounts. So that's some of the advice she gave me, but it wasn't anything urgent. The bottom line is I felt like she was positive and she helped me. She answered my questions. She gave me several different options and ideas, and I didn't feel judged. That's the thing I like the best. I felt like she met me where I was at.
That makes me so happy to hear that. Honestly, thank you so much for saying that. If there's so much content out there that is negative about being in debt. There are people out there that tell you have to eat beans and rice and beans because you have credit card debt. And that's not true. My clients are paying off debt and they're still going on vacation. They send me pictures from their vacations that they saved money for so that they didn't continue to be in debt. Like, everyone with their finances is different, but you can pay off debt. You can have everything you want. It's just a matter of getting your finances in order in a way that's motivating. It doesn't have to be restrictive. And for you to say like that there was no judgment, like, absolutely. Like, I know what it's like to be in debt. I know what it's like to get out of debt. And I feel like that's why I'm doing what I'm doing now, because I'm meant to do this. Like, I really feel like I am meant to help people and be empowered about money, especially for the first time. There are so many people out there that when they think of money, they think of stress, anxiety. They feel a sense of lacking. They feel like they're never going to achieve what they want financially, and that's why I'm so passionate about what I do, because I want to help them without being judged. So when you said not judged, that's the part that touched my heart, honestly, Dawn. Thank you for saying that. But that's what we need. We need positivity, and keeping things simple is key. When you overcomplicate things, you're adding stress or extra time to something that you didn't really want to do anyway. And that just adds a negative connotation to it. So keeping things simple will motivate you to keep going. And that's
I think it's true. And if it's okay to say this real quickly, I actually have someone that I'm going to be sending your way when I see him on Saturday. We actually had a talk today. And one thing is, right now, we all know things have, risen in cost, right? And because of that, people are struggling because they're spending more money, but they're not making more money. So one thing that I think would be helpful is, if you talk to people, is to find out, is it a spending issue or is it an income issue? Because people think automatically they're overspending. There may be clearly times that it is an income issue, and you may just not make enough money for the month to be able to accomplish your financial goals.
Absolutely. But also, when you feel like it's an income issue and when people come to me and they're like, I just don't make enough. And I'm like, okay, well, we're going to work together on this. And I help them get that negativity out of the equation, and they see the power of the money that they have. Sometimes you find that subconsciously you have money habits that are actually sabotaging you. Like, for example, like charges you don't know that are happening. I had a client that discovered that she had an extra $300 a month. And when she came to me saying that she's paycheck to paycheck and she had no money in savings, on ATM fees, just on ATM fees, because she was going
Whoa.
to an ATM that didn't belong to her bank. Like, there are so many fees and charges that you're making, and things that you don't feel you're spending money on. But then when you have someone by your side that helps you see the actual picture, sometimes you find money that you didn't even know you had. And you go from feeling like stress and anxiety, feeling like you're living paycheck to paycheck, to finding money that you're like, I had this money all along. It's like, yeah. And then now that you have it free, and you're not doing these sabotaging spending habits that you didn't even know you were doing, what the power of that money, that's what pays off your debt so quickly and reaches your savings goals.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody could have said it better than you two ladies, because the big word that I chose for 2022 was simplicity. And I
Yes.
believe you chose that too, right, Dawn?
To be honest with you, I don't remember.
Okay, a few
Yes,
of us.
girl.
Definitely Kate Caden. She chose the same word. I chose the same word. I believe you did too, Dawn. But you're mentioning that, Debbie. It is true. Simplifying things makes everything so much better.
Yes. And no Excel spreadsheets. I never use Excel spreadsheets with my
Ah.
clients. I get that question sometimes. Are you going to throw an Excel spreadsheet at me? I was like, no, I keep things simple. I'm like, you'll be able to read it like with one eye open and understand it. No problem at all. Yeah.
Does anyone want to add anything else before we go?
I think I'm good. I just appreciate all the wonderful information.
Oh, thank you. No, it's anytime I get to work with you ladies, to me, it's just, I love it. And I just think you're both so wonderful. And thank you so much for the opportunity to have me on. I really appreciate it.
You are very
Thank you,
welcome.
Dawn, for hosting us on this special show.
Well, thank you for coming up with the excellent questions. I'll just end it then, if that's okay with you, Jan and
Yes, of
Debbie.
course.
Below in the link, I'm going to link Jan's channel like I always do, and I'm going to definitely link Debbie's channel. If any of you are interested in the free class that she's has coming up, or a free money coaching session to maybe learn how you can find more money in your budget. And I did do a poll, and I want to mention this, on how many of you are debt free. 55% are still working on paying off their debt, but they have a positive mindset. And I think 45% said that they were debt free. So that means there's 55% of folks out there that are watching these videos that are still working on paying off their debt. So that is a wonderful thing. I know that you can help many folks. And if anything, they can take the class and learn, book a session with you. And I appreciate you, talking to me and helping me out so much. So that's all I have to say. Anybody else before we sign off?
No, thank you so much. Absolutely. No. And again, I anytime I get to work with you ladies, it's such a joy. So thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you, Jan. Thank you for coming up with great questions.
Thanks, everyone, for being here. Thank you.
This is How Debbie Saves. Jan from New York City Saves Money, and Money Mom signing off. Love y'all. Bye-bye.
Bye.